Hi, in this video I will be talking about sandals and flip-flops and what is healthy for your feet and your body. So I have some flip-flops on here. These used to be my favorite summer shoes, but actually I think this is my first time putting them on this summer is just to make this video. So flip-flops are not healthy for your feet. They contribute to toe gripping. I'll show you. So with flip-flops, because there's no back and they flop, it's part of their name, right? They flop around. So we tend to grip our toes to keep them on and to help them not fall off our feet when we're walking. Now, if you have flip-flops and put them on and maybe exaggerate the toe gripping a little bit just to feel that when you grip your toes, it's really hard to use your glutes. So you're robbing yourself of glute strength. If you wear flip-flops all the time, you're going to underuse your glutes with your walking pattern. It's a compensation pattern. And gripping your toes is not good for your feet and the way you interact with your body from the ground up. So this causes dysfunction in your feet because you're gripping your toes. And a lot of the time when we try to make an arch like this, a lot of people cannot make the arch without gripping their toes, which is a compensation pattern. So we do not want to be gripping your toes. That's actually a big issue for a lot of people and the function of their feet. And toe gripping is toe flexion. When you toe flex too much, this can interact and cause compensation with any muscle in your whole body that flexes or extends. So this can all the way up to your neck flexors and extensors. So gripping your toes basically can relate to faulty compensation patterns in your body. So if you do wear flip-flops a lot, I highly recommend switching to different footwear. I'm going to give you some other options. Oh, and you would think flip-flops flexible, right? Well, they're flexible up to a point. They're kind of rigid in the back. So just this front part bends easily. And the heel is slightly elevated, but that's better than most typical like sneakers and stuff. But these are not ideal. It brings back memories getting those out. Okay, so what I do recommend is a minimalist sandal. My favorite so far are Earth Runners. These are the circadian lifestyle sandals. Now, I've been wearing minimalist shoes for at least 6 years now, so I got this thinner version, but they do sell a thicker version of these sandals that are probably good if you're new to minimalist shoes. It's good to gradually build up your tolerance to minimalist shoes, and one way to do that is by starting off with some that offer a little more cushioning for your feet. But this minimalist sandal is very flexible this way and this way. The straps are set up so that you have an ankle strap to hold it on your foot, so it takes care of that problem with the toe gripping. Unless, one thing I found when I was weaning myself off my flip-flops was I was gripping my toes in regular shoes as well. So I just had that strong toe gripping pattern, and I find that on foot maps where the toes are dark on the foot map, which is like basically a footprint made with ink on paper. So a lot of people out there are toe grippers. So I had to just break the habit in my regular shoes to stop toe gripping as well. And basically, if you use your core and your glutes more, you usually grip your toes less. But anyways, another really cool thing about these is there's a copper grounding plug. So there's copper here, and then there's a stainless steel conductive thread in the strap so that you are grounding. So if you're barefoot on the ground, there's many positive effects. There's like exchange of electrons, decrease of inflammation, based on the electron exchange, and you get the benefits of grounding in these shoes, which I am really excited about. I also like the footbed. It's a really comfortable texture, and sometimes I'm hiking and there's puddles and my feet get wet and my feet do not slide. My previous pair of sandals, I had a problem when I was hiking in mud or a puddle. My feet would slide and jam and would not work well in the shoe once they got wet, but these have been doing really great even when they get wet. So they have an adjustable strap system. It took me a few weeks to get these adjusted to what felt really good for me, but it was definitely worth going through that because I really love wearing these. I hike mountains in these and everything. I everything from, you know, flat sidewalks to mountains, I find these comfortable. So minimal footwear sometimes is expensive. I just wanted to show you some less expensive options that are healthier than the typical. So this is, I got these, I think, on a clearance rack for a few bucks one year from like the Bon-Ton. But this is not perfect. It has a tiny elevated heel, but it's such a small, probably about 1/8 of an inch compared to the front, right? So very tiny elevation. Some people go through the trouble of like removing this. I haven't quite gone that far yet. Maybe I will someday. But these I consider if I just want to wear something a little cuter in the summer. But they're not as flexible as you can see compared to my minimalist shoes. They don't roll up, and I could twist. Well, twisting is better than rolling. So they're not as flexible, but they're not terrible. And they do have the ankle strap. So this is definitely better than a flip-flop. And these, again, were really inexpensive. So this is something that I consider acceptable. I just wouldn't wear them all day, every day, but occasionally wear these. And then when I'm dressing up, I bought these sandals with a little bling on them so that they looked a little dressier when I was at a semi-formal event, because now that I've been wearing barefoot shoes for years, I can really barely tolerate high heels at all. You know, especially if you're in a closed shoe with the pointy toe and then the high heel, and I feel like I'm just gonna lose it when I'm wearing those. So I bought these as my compromise. So again, this is not ideal to wear around all day, every day. It has a couple inch elevated heel. It's not very flexible at all. So I'm not super happy in these when I'm wearing them, but at least it's not nearly as bad as a typical high heel. So I recommend keep your eye out, especially in the summer when these kind of shoes are out, and I even wear these in the winter, I don't care. But that's just another idea for when you're trying to dress up and wear something. So if you have any questions at all, I love talking about shoes. I'm gonna put a link to the Earth Runners in this post, and in the comment section I'll put it, unless it works out well up top. Somewhere in this post I'll put the link to the Earth Runners. I definitely recommend these. They do go on sale sometimes, and I tend to prefer to buy a few good pairs of shoes as opposed to a whole bunch of inexpensive shoes. I like to make my feet a priority, and so I do think it's worth the investment to start getting some of these kind of shoes. Have a great day.